like we have the stoner squad here. What do you guys think about 207?
Okay, did you guys real quick? Did you guys see my post where I was like, if you have an issue, pull up, pull up. So I was in this post where I one of who was it? I think it was T my bad. It was a post where they were talking about 207. And I said, if you're voting for it for money for schools, I wouldn't bank on that. I know in California, we've legalized weed, and the state still got props on there for schools and all sorts of shit, and they're still begging for money. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So you mean to tell me that off of this industry, you haven't taxed enough to where we ain't got to pay no more taxes for schools and shit? You still begging? I said, if you're asking for Prop 207 for the benefit of the money going to school, I said, don't count on that. Just vote for it because you like weed. And then some dude got on and was like, you don't know what you're talking about, this, that, and the third. So we back and forth. And I'm like, I mean, seriously, if California, Denver, and all these other places have gone through that problem, just understand and know that weed money is just going to be like regular drug money. It's going to be piped out and placed in people's pockets where it don't belong. Period.
Yeah, of course.
Got to know that that's what's about to happen.
It's drug money. What the hell did they expect was going to happen?
Exactly.
Yeah, politics are gangsters in suits.
Right. That's not inaccurate, but I don't think you should vote based on where you think the taxes are going to go. You know what I mean? I think you should vote if you support the legalization of marijuana for 21-year-olds, or if you don't. Like, you shouldn't base your vote on where they're going to go taxes. You know, there's
the
age.
And that was 21.
Me personally, I just wanted to speak on this because I've been a big lover of marijuana and for a very long time, and the reason why, even back in the day when it was Reggie, is because they used to have me all peeled out when I was a kid. Like, I was one of those guinea pigs where they swear to God that you have fucking seizures, but you never remember ever having a seizure in your life. So they give you all these seizure medications and shit that make you all paranoid and make you have to take other pills and shit. Like, it's fucked up. But what happened was I picked up a joint when I was like 10 years old and shit, and I never really took a pill again after that. But yeah.
That's cool though, Frankie, because I have a girlfriend that I met back in maybe 2000, and she smokes weed for her seizures as well. So it works for different people with seizures. I've heard other people with seizures say it doesn't work for them. So it may also be the types of seizures that people have, because I know there's various types of seizures as well.
I know there's various types, but I just don't see the fact that I have seizures. I mean, I've driven for mad hours. I've never been in an accident. At least not one that was my fault.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at Proposition 207, and I mean, for me, like, I agree with it because I think that adults should be able to do what they want to do with their bodies, and if they want to put weed in their body, it's their body, and who is the government to tell them that they shouldn't do it? I think that it's good for people to be able to choose their own vices. It's not really hurting anybody. It's no more dangerous than alcohol. There's actually less people have accidents smoking weed than drinking. You don't see a lot of people coming out here committing crimes. I mean, granted, people commit crimes for drugs, but you very rarely hear of someone saying, I robbed the house so I get some weed, like they just aren't doing that. So weed is very good for a lot of people who have mental health issues, anxiety, but some people with bipolar disorder do well on it. Some people with schizophrenia do well on it. I think, again, it depends on the person and their own individual bodies. It doesn't work for everybody. And then, hey, some people just like the feeling that it gives them, the euphoria and the relaxed feeling that it gives. I don't particularly agree with the government regulating it, but alcohol is regulated by the government, and so is all the rest of our lives. So, hey.
I would think, regardless if you choose to smoke or not, I mean, most of you guys know that I support the legalization of all drugs, but I think regardless if you want to smoke or not, like, if you believe in, true freedom, it's a step closer to freedom, even if the drug itself is regulated by the government, which is unfortunate. I don't like that either, like LaKrysia said. But even if it's somewhat regulated by the government, at least you're not going to fucking get arrested or be villainized for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what you
That too,
do
though.
see happen from selling weed and stuff that is dangerous is people robbing people who are selling and then them end up getting shot or having to shoot somebody. I've heard that story a lot of times. So if it's
Well,
legalized,
and that's
you
They can
won't
just go to
hear
a
so many of those
store.
stories because it's at a dispensary.
Well, here's the thing
Right.
with
right,
that
and
though.
that's
That's
where
not
the
gonna ever
regulation
stop.
comes
That's
in
not
at
gonna
as
ever
well.
stop. That's not gonna ever stop though, because there's people that don't have
Not
identification
entirely. Yeah.
that can't go to the dispensary because they can't produce an ID. And there's going to be people that's under the age of 21 that's going to want weed. So that element's always going to still be there. The market's going to change. And then there's still going to be people that are in that age group that just look at it as a convenience. Like, oh, my dude got the fire regardless and it's cheaper than the dispensary. So I'm going to fuck with my guy still. So,
Yeah.
you know,
People prefer
that that element's still going to be there. And I don't think that I mean, as far as the crime element behind weed, it's like it's very minimal, and it's very minimal because it's not a turf thing. That shit's so mobile. It's not like, what I'm saying, you sitting up and you got people that are frequenting that area that you're serving to that's out in the open. You know what I'm saying? It's a different element with that.
They
So I see so I see it be going both ways.
when the police pull you over, if you don't have your ID, most of the time the first thing they do is get your name and then look you up, and then they pull up your picture with your ID on it, and they are able to see who you are and everything, and either let you go or tell you no, you don't have an ID, whatever. But if most people who are over 21 are supposed to have some type of driver's license or ID anyways, like you're legally supposed to, why can't the dispensaries have that system to where they can just pull you up by name and not have to
They do.
see a physical?
They do. Like, okay, out
They
here
do.
in California,
Yeah, they do.
it's the way it is. Like, I don't like the only way to legally, just like buying cigarettes and beer, you have to produce your ID at any time. Like, I'm fucking 44 and I still get carded for fucking tobacco products and fucking alcohol. I look like I'm 21. No, I mean, but back in the day, it wasn't a requirement. Now it's a federal requirement for you to do that. And it's the same thing with weed. So you go in there, you show them your ID. Now, the way they do it in California, they just scan the back. Bam, your name pops up, all your little information, all your little visits and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then, oh, if they got it to where, shit, oh, this your 10th visit, you get a free pre-roll. Or you go in there like I'm a veteran and I get my veteran discount. I ain't got to ask for that shit. Oh, okay, boom. And my shit rings out with my discount automatically. It's all electronic, but you have to have an ID to prove your age. And that's the requirement.
And a
So
lot of people don't have IDs because they're illegal. I didn't necessarily have an ID until I actually was 21. There was no need for me to have an ID. So I just had my birth certificate and my social security card. And a lot of times if there's no need, the person just doesn't have one. They would have, but if they have a social security card and a birth certificate, they should be able to go get ID if they want to participate in partaking of marijuana for recreational purposes.
But
so, I mean, unless we're
easy.
talking about underage minors, and then that's a whole different story.
So that's why I'm saying the element.
This is 21 and over.
But I mean, but even with the minors now, you see minors who are asking adults to go into Circle K and buy cigarettes or beer.
Oh, of course, I did that with cigarettes because I started smoking before 18. Yeah.
Right.
Guys, hold up 1 second. Verse.
My shit was muted, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, why is no one letting me talk?
Oh shit! Yeah, we couldn't hear you.
But as far as yes or no on 207, I think a lot of people are trying to say they want to vote no because like there's so much money going into like the police department and the court system and stuff like that. And I just think that's childish. I think it's stupid for people to feel that way. Like you have to know that the state they make money off of criminal activity. Like when people get crimes, DUIs, anything, when a motherfucker gets charged with a crime, the state is going to receive some type of money for that person being charged as a crime, whether or not it's you having the taxpayers paying money for prisons or whatever. They make money from fines for having weed and stuff like that. So if they're gonna legalize weed, you think that they're just gonna take that money off of the table and be like, all right, well, we're gonna legalize weed, and all that money we used to make from arresting people and giving people tickets for weed, that's just, that's just in the red now. No, they're gonna tax it, they're gonna distribute that money out to the same places that are gonna be lacking because of that. The police are not the police, and that's one thing too. Like we some of us have this hatred for like all fucking cops, and we have to. And this is a whole nother broad topic, but we have to ask for the same consideration that we want consideration for. As a black person, if we're saying we don't want motherfuckers to, this nigga's dying.
My bad, yeah, my bad.
I was just trying to say that. My man Frankie
Should have muted myself.
God damn, baby.
But yeah, as black people, if we want to be looked at for just as individuals and not be judged, just say, oh, don't judge all black people by your minimal experience with black people or your experience with some black people. We can't ostracize the entire fucking police department, bro. Like, not the entire police department. There's some bad apples, and we should point them people out, and we should hold our middle fingers up and say fuck them and try to get them people out, and all of that shit. We should tell them, suck my dick and walk off. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of that shit. But we can't just ostracize like the entire police department and say like, I don't want to give the police any money at all. That's not going to help the community at all.
And piggybacking off of what Verse said earlier when he was talking about how we have to like kind of play their game. We have to give a little and take a little. Like a lot of what we're doing now is playing politics. We're politicking. You have to compromise. You have to come to a compromise. So when we're talking about Prop 207 and they're wanting to give money to the police department or whatever, we have to understand we're compromising to be able to have our freedom. I mean, what the hell? Did I just say that? We're compromising to be able to have our freedom. That sounds pretty fucked up, actually. But we have to kind of
goes against all the LaKrysia playbook, yeah.
Yeah, but there's an alternative where we don't have the option of compromising.
So are we all for or against Proposition 207?
I just wanted to throw one last little thing into here real quick before we end up getting off the topic. I am for freeing marijuana, but I'm not really for the full legalization recreationally. And the only reason being is simply because I'm like a marijuana connoisseur. And I have a feeling that if everything was recreational, that I think that the quality of what we get as a product is going to go down just because people are going to start mass producing because everybody's going to be able to get it. You know what I mean? So they're not going to care as much as the value of
I will say, as somebody who's already done it, like we've already done it in Vegas. And
I was about to say, Frankie, you're silly. You're silly, Frankie.
I can get goddamn like 35% THC. Like I can get off the wall strength shit out here, and it's completely recreational. So that theory's been disproven.
No, it's gonna get stronger.
What you gotta understand, Frankie, with this in this bill, they're mandating that who is it? Department, I think you just put that shit up. So the State Department of Health and Human Services now because it's recreational.
Yeah, and it helps. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they're going to be mandated to put some type of quality control on it to make sure we're not getting no bullshit ass cartridges for wax pens and make sure we're not getting no bullshit ass weed. The health department's going to be required to enforce that all of this stuff is safe for us to intake. So it's going to get better, if you ask me.
Also says that they're going to amend criminal penalties and they're going to allow expungement of marijuana offenses. So that actually helps the community because it'll be allowing people to get out of jail and prison too for marijuana offenses.
Before alcohol was legal in the bottle, used to say stuff like gin or vodka, and it didn't have even like a brand on it. Like alcohol used to be really poor class, but once it was legalized and everything was like you're able to access it and do what you want with it, resell it, everything like that, like people started experimenting with it and making it better and better. And now there's like real smooth stuff like Hypnotic, there's real strong stuff like those bottled moonshine stuff.
You can buy like Everclear if you want like knock you out liquor.
Well, they're
different levels
already
and ranges.
experimenting with marijuana. They've been experimenting with marijuana for quite some time. Like I said, like that's why they have hybrids now in the dispensaries.
That's why they even have wax and shit. Yeah.
Right. They have wax. They have dab. Like they have all kind of stuff. They have edibles now that you can buy at the dispensary. I mean, people have been doing this for a long time.
Edibles for a long.
Right. Right. We were doing that back in
edibles since the 70s.
Yeah, people have been making weed gummies forever.
Garbage. So yes, no on Proposition 207.
Yes.
I mean, I guess that if the quality doesn't go down, I say yeah. Why not? Free the weed, bro. Just like Bob said.
Mine is just an endorsement because I'm no longer in Arizona, just like Trilla. But mine's just an endorsement. I can't vote for Arizona anymore.
I would say yes. I would say yes. Get that shit. Yeah. Smoke it up.
Yeah, free the weed, bro. Yeah.
I even think I posted that. Yo, Arizona, don't fuck that up. We got it over here.
You know what's really fucked up? And I just want to throw this out here. If you don't have a medical marijuana card in the state of Arizona, even though it's medicine here, they can call it a fucking Schedule I drug up there with heroin and cocaine and shit if you get caught with wax. That's fucking crazy.